Good morning, children. Yesterday we studied about the saprotrophic nutrition and the saprotrophs. Today we are going to study about symbiotic relationship. So everybody open page number 7 in your textbook. Okay, now what is the meaning of symbiotic relationship? Symbiotic relationship means what? That there are certain organisms which lives on the host. Now you know what is the meaning of host, right? So on the host means the plant on which the other plant stays and obtains the nutrition. Now symbiotic relationship means the host and the parasite, right? The host and the parasite, what do? They help each other. The parasite will give the nutrition, will take the nutrition from the host, and the host will provide shelter. Both of them will help each other. So, in such a type of situation, it is called a symbiotic relationship. In symbiotic relationship, both the organism provide help to each other. Fine. You can see on page number 7 that some organisms live together and share shelter and nutrient. What do? In symbiotic relation, the organisms, they share the shelter and nutrition. Who is going to take the nutrition? The parasite is going to take the nutrition. And who is going to give the shelter? Right? The host. The host will allow the parasite to stay on it. Right? Okay. For example, certain fungi live in the roots of the trees. The tree provides the nutrients to the fungus and in return receives the help from it to take up water and nutrients from the soil. There are certain roots. In that there are certain bacteria which stays on the roots. Fine. So the bacteria is staying on the roots. So what is the symbiotic relation? That the tree will give the nutrition. The tree will give the nutrition to the bacteria. And in return, what help bacteria will give to the trees? That it will convert the atmospheric nitrogen into the salts, and it will help the roots to absorb it and reach it to the different parts of the plant. Understood? So this is called a symbiotic relationship where they share the nutrition and shelter. In organisms called lichens, a chlorophyll containing partner, which is an alga and fungus, live together. Algae and fungus, they live together. The fungus provides a shelter, water and minerals to the alga, and in return the alga provides the food which it prepares by photosynthesis. In a plant named lichens, what is present? Alga is present, and what else is present? Fungus is present, or fungi is present. Okay. Now what does this alga help the fungi? It provides the food. Because algae, it prepares its food with the help of photosynthesis. So whatever food it is preparing, it will give to the fungi. And in return, what the fungi will do? It will provide shelter and water to the algae. So both of them are helping each other, so that we can say that they are under symbiotic relationship. Is that clear? Okay, fine. So what was symbiotic relationship? Okay, so we studied about autotrophic, heterotrophic, saprotrophic and symbiotic relationship. Is that clear? Fine. Now we are going to study the next topic, that is how nutrients are replenished in the soil. Replenished means how do they stay or how they are maintained in the soil. How nutrients are maintained in the soil. Okay. Have you seen spreading manure or fertilizers in the fields, or gardeners using them in the lawns. You learned that plants absorb minerals, nutrients from the soil. So their amounts in the soil keep on declining. Fertilizers and manure contain plant nutrients such as nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus. These nutrients need to be added from time to time to enrich the soil. What happens is, every now and then we have seen the farmers are spreading manure and fertilizers in the farm. Why do they do that? Because in the farm, the plants which grow, the plants which are growing in the farm, what is happening? They are taking the nutrients from the soil. So that once they take the nutrients, the amount of nutrients will be decreased. Fine. So if different crops are grown, the nutrients will be continuously absorbed by the roots of the crop, and then finally the amount of nutrients will be decreased in the soil. So the farmer adds fertilizers and manure so that the soil fertility is maintained. Whatever nutrients are absorbed by the plants, what is happening? Whatever they are absorbed, so whichever nutrient is decreased from the soil, the farmer with the help of manure or fertilizer puts it again in the soil and mixes it. So whatever is decreased, whatever level has decreased, it will again come back to its normal amount. Fine? Okay. Usually crops require a lot of nitrogen to make proteins. After the harvest, the soil becomes deficient in nitrogen. After the harvesting, what happens is, the plants maximum they take nitrogen. The plants, whichever we grow in the soil, maximum it takes the nitrogen. So after the harvest, what is the meaning of harvest? Means after the sowing of seeds, the irrigation and all that, what happens? Finally, when the production is ready and everything is done, the plant or whatever the farmer has grown is ready for in the market to reach it to the market. What happens is, the nitrogen level in the soil will be very less because the plants have absorbed the nitrogen. You learned that nitrogen gas is available in plenty in the air. Air plants cannot use in the manner they use carbon dioxide. The rhizobium bacteria can take the atmospheric nitrogen and convert into soluble form, but rhizobium cannot make its own food. So it lives in the roots of gram, peas, mung beans and legumes, which provide them with nitrogen. Most of the pulses are obtained from leguminous plants, and in return plants provide food and shelter to the bacteria. So nitrogen level, the nitrogen level is decreased. So what happens is that the rhizobium bacteria, you know, we studied yesterday, I think, I don't remember whether I have taught in this class, we have studied that the rhizobium bacteria, what does it do? It converts the atmospheric nitrogen into soluble salts. Fine. So where is the rhizobium bacteria? In the roots. Roots of which plants? The leguminous plants. Leguminous plants means all the pulses, right? All the pulses. Grams, mung, chana, all these come under the pulses section. So rhizobium bacteria, what does it do? It converts the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogenous salts, and with the help of that, the plants are able to take the nitrogen. Okay? Thus, they have a symbiotic relationship. This association is a great significance for the farmers. They do not need to add nitrogen fertilizer to the soil in which the leguminous plants are grown. If a farmer is growing some pulses, or where he knows that if I grow this crop, the roots, in this root there will be rhizobium bacteria, then there will be no need for the farmer to put in some nitrogenous fertilizer. Why? Because in the leguminous plants already the rhizobium bacteria with the help of symbiotic relationship has already added nitrogen into the soil. Understood? Okay. They do not need to add nitrogen fertilizer. Okay. So in this chapter you have learned that most plants are autotrophs. We have studied that most of the plants are autotrophs. Let me again tell you what are autotrophs. Autotrophs means those organisms which can prepare their own food. That is, only plants can prepare their own food. Okay. Nutrition like parasitic and saprophytic. They derive nutrition from the other organisms. And all happen is all animals are categorized as heterotrophs since they depend on plants for their food. Okay, understood? So it was all in this chapter. So tomorrow we will start with the keywords. So before we do the exercise and keywords, children, your homework is just read the entire chapter. Just go through all the type of all main topics, that is autotrophs, heterotrophs, saprotrophs, symbiotic relation, insectivorous plants, what is rhizobium bacterium. Okay, all these important topics, please go through it. So tomorrow when we do the keywords and exercise, you don't have any doubt in your mind. Is that clear? Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.